Discusses Robert Daly. He is a former U.S. diplomat in Beijing and now serves as the director of the Wilson Center's Kissinger Institute on China and the United States. So, Robert, you said this trip was a bad idea in the first place. Are you concerned that China will use this as a pretext for more military action?
I don't think they'll take military action in the form of pulling a trigger. I do think they'll take advantage of this to do something slightly escalatory that they haven't done before, like crossing the median line in the Taiwan Strait or going into Taiwan's airspace. And that will set up a new baseline, which leads us slightly closer to confrontation. I don't think we're going to be at confrontation this time around, but I don't think that we'll be better off in our relations with Beijing a week from now than we are today.
Let's talk a little bit more about the sensitivities of the timing of this. It's the first time a Speaker of the House has visited, but this time there are some additional layers to this trip, right?
The biggest additional layer is that sometime this fall, the Chinese Communist Party is going to hold a very large meeting at which Xi Jinping will be anointed for a third term as the leader and possibly will have some new status, which makes him leader for life. And so he is more than usually concerned to have stability, to project wisdom and strength in the lead up to that. So yes, that's a special condition. At the same time, there's never a good time from China's point of view for this to happen. They will always claim that there's some reason that it's a particularly bad moment.
And of course, as a Speaker of the House, she is in the presidential line of succession, but there is a difference between a member of Congress and a member of the administration to visit Taiwan. And I'm wondering, does China recognize that distinction or even care?
It's America watchers understand this, but they think it's a distinction without a difference. Just as when we look at Chinese statements, we tend to say accurately that they all come from the Communist Party one way or the other. China takes the view of the United States that everything that we do is attributable to American policy, and so they're deeply concerned.
Just hours after news of Pelosi's trip broke, China's military released this highly produced video where it says it's going to, quote, bury incoming enemies while showing off its weapons and fighting tactics. Should the U.S. take this as some kind of warning?
I think your reporter in Taiwan had it right. This is mostly for domestic consumption. They want to look strong before the Chinese people. They do not want a conflict with the United States right now. Still, this kind of rhetoric obligates them to do something that they haven't done before. And so again, even if it's a minor act that they take, which doesn't threaten us directly, it's going to change the status quo slightly in a very dangerous part of the world.
So then, what does a win look like for Speaker Pelosi and the U.S. in your view?
Well, for Speaker Pelosi, I think that just going there and coming out, which is what's going to happen, will be a win. She'll claim that she, as a defender of human rights and democracy, went and stood by the people of Taiwan. The question is, does that really benefit United States interests? Does it help to lower the flame under U.S.-China relations, which are at a boiling point already? Does it really make the people of Taiwan more secure, or does it just make her glad that she took this trip? I'm worried that this is being driven not by a real plan for U.S.-China relations, but simply by the desire of, in this case, Speaker Pelosi, but also other politicians, to go to Taiwan.
What is your concern then, looking ahead, the long-term relationship and the impact between China and the United States?
There is an increasing likelihood that the United States and China could end up in conflict. The goal of our relationship should be to avoid war with China. The most likely flashpoint for a war is Taiwan. There are others. Therefore, our goal needs to be to try to reassure China that while we stand with the people of Taiwan and will not allow them to be coerced, we also don't seek Taiwanese independence. I think that's the piece that's been missing. We've been deterring China, but we haven't been reassuring it.
All right, Robert Daly, thank you for offering your insight and expertise on this. Well, deadly flames exploding into California's largest wildfire this year.